Hello everyone and welcome to this video tutorial on pseudo-elements. In this session, we will explore the different types of pseudo-elements in CSS and how they can be used to style specific parts of your web content without adding extra elements to your HTML. By the end of this session, you'll have a solid understanding of pseudo-elements and be able to implement them in your own projects. So again, pseudo elements allow you to style or apply styles to elements without the need to add an additional HTML tag. So the keyword here is without. If you're not adding any elements, additional elements HTML, this will make your HTML code much cleaner. So for this session, we will discuss the pseudo elements of first line, the first letter, the before and after, which is very useful if you want to add additional accent on your design. And we have also marker, selection, placeholder. So let's get started. Let's implement first the first line. So what is the first line? The first line pseudo element is used to style the first line of a block level element. This is particularly useful for adding emphasis to the opening line of a paragraph. Here's an example of how to use the first line. So we have a paragraph of class P1. So we will implement a first line code here. So for example, we have a dot P1 paragraph. Then we will use the first line. So for example, the first line of the paragraph will be color red. So this one is the first line. So any block level element, specifically paragraph. So although you are resizing the web page, so it will stay consistent that the first line of the paragraph, which is our class P hyphen 1, will be color red. So another one, when you use the first letter, for example, we have the paragraph 2, and we'll use the first letter. So about color red, font size around 32 pixels just to give the emphasis, and the font weight of bold. So as you can see, the first letter of our P2 paragraph, which is the letter L, will receive this specific settings. So remember, we are not adding more HTML element to this structure. That's why it's more useful when we are using CSS pseudo elements to make accent for the pages. So the first letter is use the style, the first letter, of course. This is self-explanatory. This can be used for creating drop caps or highlighting the initial character, such as if you are familiar with the old newspaper. So they are highlighting the first letter as large text or bold letters. Again, the before and after pseudo elements allow you to insert content before or after an element's actual content. This is useful again for adding decorative elements or additional information without modifying the HTML. So for this example, so we will add a quotation mark at the end, but this will be done using the before and after pseudo elements. So for example, we have a class of quote. So dot quote. So before, so the important parameter here or property is to add additional content. For example, we have a content X with a color of red for these purposes. So as you can see, before the instance of the paragraph, we inserted a character of X. So if I copy this one and put it after, so we'll notice another X. So this is very useful when designing web pages. So when we are on the layout for the for this lecture, you will see the value of the before and after. So this can be done. So most we are using here HTML entities. So what are HTML entities? So these are the HTML entities. For example, you want to display a cent currency, a pound. It has an equivalent alphanumeric value. So for example, I want to display a pound. So I'll copy this one. So for example, I'm adding it at the end. So pound. So we have a pound sign here. So just search HTML entity, and it's also had its Unicode value. For example, I want to display the copyright on this part so that we have a copyright. So we can also use this one to style the content, but we will be needing a hexadecimal value. So for example, we want to provide a double quote. So I'll copy this number 8220, paste this to a decimal to hexadecimal converter. So our content to be recognized by the content will be backslash 201C. So that will be our quotation. So to give emphasis, font size of 24 pixels. Okay. So if we copy this one, so I think the value of the after will be 201D for the closing time. So these are the before and after. We also have what we call the markers. So normally we use this to modify the accent of the list as such for this example. So we are using the marker. We have a custom list class. So as we will use the marker dot custom list, then we'll select the direct child, which is for example the marker. So I want you to look at this section of the web page. So how about color blue with a font size of 20 pixels? As you can see, we can modify the bullet list to be blue. So the next one is the selection. So we have here highlight. So highlight pseudo element of selection. We have the background, for example, of black, yellow color. So as we highlight this one, so that is our settings with a background of black and a color of yellow. So if you don't want yellow, how about red? So as we select the specific paragraph, so the selection is triggering in. So we have also a placeholder specifically for form elements. This time we have input type text and we have a placeholder of enter name. Originally, placeholder like are designed as gray, but we can modify this one by placing the pseudo element of placeholder. For example, color green. The placeholder text will be color green. And if you want some background, for example, the background pink. So you can do this one. So if there is a blank, so the placeholder will show with a green and pink background. So this is it for this tutorial on CSS elements, specifically pseudo elements. We've covered how to use the first line, first letter, before and after, marker, selection, and placeholder to style specific parts of your content. By using pseudo elements, you can enhance the presentation of your web pages without cluttering your HTML with additional unnecessary tags. I hope you found this tutorial helpful and now ready to implement these techniques in your own projects. Thank you for watching and happy coding.